Satan talks about God, he's referring to actual God. And so even if a demon is behind the writing of the Quran, it doesn't change the fact that the word Allah refers to God. There's just
Does Vatican II say
there's just no
worship and
connection
adore?
there. There's no
Does
connection there.
Vatican II say worship and adore?
What's the question?
Does Vatican II use the terms worship and adore?
Probably lots of times.
Why are you eating on? That's completely disrespectful to eat.
Wait, I don't get this. I need you to explain this to me. So if the devil appears to you and says, "Well, I'm actually God," and you're saying, given that causal theory of reference, we're still, it doesn't matter. You're still doing.
I'm saying no. I'm saying if the devil appears to you and says, "God is lying to you. You shall not surely die if you eat of this fruit of this tree," that even though he's Satan and he's misleading you and leading you into damnation, when he says God, the word, it still refers to the one true God.
Yeah,
I actually think the example works totally against your view.
Worship and adore. Dude, stop distracting and playing games. Worship and adore. What's the debate?
So if I can,
what are you laughing at?
If I can,
worship and adore, is that equivalent to no?
That's not even a sentence. What's your sentence? Make a claim. What is the claim?
Stop smacking your food in a debate.
I'm waiting for a debate. The debate requires an argument.
Worship and adore.
Where's your argument? You're just saying words.
Words. This guy's having a meltdown.
What's the sentence?
Is the text of Vatican II.
Let's talk about something incredibly basic that somehow still needs to be said. Do not eat during debates or presentations. It's become disturbingly common on YouTube and in online forums to see people, sometimes even scholars or serious commentators, eating mid-presentation or while debating complex, often controversial topics. Let's be clear. We're here to hear your arguments, not to watch you chew. This isn't a mukbang. You're not at a backyard picnic. You're trying to engage in public intellectual discourse, so act like it. Here's why it's a problem. 1. It's visually disrespectful. Watching someone eat while they talk about serious issues is off-putting. It reduces the professionalism and credibility of what's being said. It shows poor judgment and a lack of self-awareness. 2. It divides your attention. You can't seriously claim to be fully engaged in a debate or a presentation while you're focusing on food. Eating is a distraction, to you and to the audience. 3. It interrupts the flow. If someone asks you a question and you have to pause, chew, and swallow before answering, it derails the momentum. It also makes your delivery look sloppy and unprepared. 4. It diminishes gravitas. Some topics, war, justice, faith, ethics, demand a level of seriousness. Chewing on a sandwich while discussing the meaning of life or human rights cheapens the tone of the entire exchange. 5. It's a missed opportunity. Every debate or public speech is a moment to be taken seriously. You've got limited time to persuade, inform, or challenge ideas. Why waste it multitasking with your lunch? 6. It's easily avoidable. If you're hungry, eat before or after. It's not hard. The idea that people can't go an hour without a snack is infantilizing. 7. It can embarrass you. What if food gets stuck in your teeth? What if you mispronounce something mid-chew? You've now turned what should be a thoughtful discussion into a cringeworthy clip online. A matter of etiquette and respect. Ultimately, it's about respecting your audience and the platform you've been given. When you eat during a serious exchange, you're signaling to your viewers that you don't really care, or at the very least, that you care more about your appetite than the subject at hand. If you wouldn't do it in a courtroom, boardroom, or classroom, don't do it in a debate. This isn't hard. It's just basic human etiquette. Let's now explore some ethical and traditional sources that speak directly to the issue of eating in undignified or inappropriate contexts. The Talmud actually addresses this subject quite clearly, as cited in the excellent book Derek Eretz by Rabbi Shaul Vagshal. The Talmud, Kiddushin 40b, says that a person who eats in the street, i.e. in a place where people would not normally eat, resembles a dog, an animal that lacks the quality of humility more than other animals. So too, a person who eats in public demonstrates his lack of humility. The Talmud rules that a person who eats in public is disqualified from giving testimony. Since he lacks the trait of self-effacement, he will not hesitate to give false testimony and thereby risk public ridicule. This is obviously strong language. Professor Joshua Schwartz comments that it's likely an exaggeration, but the core ethical point remains valid. Think about it. A dog will eat anywhere, no matter how inappropriate the setting. A dog will eat while someone is giving a serious speech, and that's fine, because it's a dog. But humans are expected to exercise restraint, dignity, and professionalism, especially when the moment calls for seriousness or public discourse. Consider the words of Maimonides, also known as the Rambam, in his Deot. Chapter 5. When the wise man eats the little which is fitting for him, he should eat it only in his own home, at his table. He should not eat in a store or in the marketplace, unless there is a very pressing need, lest he be viewed without respect by others. In other words, eating in public without necessity undermines your public image, your perceived wisdom, and the dignity of the moment. We also find in Tractate Derek Eretz Zuta 5.1 the following: a scholar should not eat standing, lick his fingers, or belch in the presence of his fellow. Again, the emphasis is on decorum, self-control, and consideration for others. None of this is about snobbery. It's about maintaining a shared standard of human conduct, particularly when engaging in community, learning, or serious conversation. And in Derek Eretz Zuta 8.9 we read, "It is unbecoming for a host to eat in the presence of his guest, without inviting him to join him. It is more unbecoming for one guest to bring in another guest. It is still more unbecoming when one eats in the presence of a scholar. More unbecoming than these three is for a guest to cause trouble to another guest." Eating in the presence of a scholar, especially if you're the only one eating, is viewed as a mark of bad judgment. You're no longer focused on learning or on the conversation. You're focused on your own hunger. And if it happens during a lesson or debate, it becomes even more problematic. The time for eating is before or after, not during. Let me pause here to share a tip I found incredibly useful. When you read and encounter powerful, topic-relevant sources, make a dedicated Word document for them. Over time, you'll build up a library, not just of books, but of ready references sorted by subject. If you're studying topics like debate etiquette, humility, religious customs, or anything else, it helps immensely to have your sources organized, because the more you read, the more you forget, unless you review. And once you've read dozens or hundreds of books, it becomes easy to forget where you saw what. I encourage you to create many small source documents, even hundreds if needed, one for each important topic. Add notes if you disagree with a source, or highlight which viewpoint you prefer. That way, you won't just present what you believe, you'll also understand why and how it compares with other views. I hope I've convinced you of a basic but overlooked point of etiquette. Don't eat during presentations or debates, and if you see someone doing it, especially during a serious intellectual exchange, it really is a red flag. Now, that doesn't mean their argument is automatically wrong, but it does mean they're showing a lack of self-awareness or respect for the moment, which does reflect on their character. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, and visit my website, Radical Universe. Let's raise the standard of public conversation, one bite at a time, or rather, one less bite at a time.